Craig Sullivan. Oops, I did it again. I wound up in Las Vegas. What the hell is wrong with me?
Nothing that we can talk about on air,
right,
on the internet, or in a court of law.
Well, maybe if they subpoena me, I don't know. But either way,
no, you don't have to show up for that anymore.
Craig, listen, dude, I've been here all week. I haven't been home in like 9 days now, so I'm really confused. What time is it, Craig Sullivan?
Time for an audit.
Yes. Dude, I can't believe how cool that opening segment is. I loved that the new one. Anyway, hey everybody, I'm Vegas Glenn. Glenn. That over there is Aloha Craig. You have unfortunately come upon Friday Night Audit, as we promised, the only show in hospitality guaranteed to make you dumber for watching. Craig Sullivan, how are you doing out there in the California coast today? You look a little chilly, brother.
Yeah, got long sleeves on, got long pants on. It's below 70.
Right. Well,
damn, I'm cold.
What did you get that in 1983 after seeing a Police concert, but you were too cheap to buy the official Synchronicity merchandise? You had to go to a guy and get out of a truck or something? What happened there?
No, actually, I bought it in the great state of Hawaii on Maui. Yep. At a t-shirt shop a couple, 3 years ago. And I said, God, that looks like Synchronicity. I think I'll buy that.
That's great. Well,
hey, Amy's on board, and so's Daniel. Look at that.
All right, everybody, welcome to Friday Night. I'm so glad to see you all. As you guys know, I'm here on location in Las Vegas. It has been such a great week here, man. I'm at Carversteak at Resorts World, Las Vegas. We're going to be bringing in, we have not one, but 2 guests this week to compensate for the fact that I am so freaking tired after being here all week. Dude, I wasn't even sure I would come on air to do the show after last week's revenue management dance-off, because I think I injured a number of parts of me that I didn't even have, that I didn't realize I had.
You've got a whole year to recover and get back into training.
Yeah.
So
I'll get back on the train. That, of course, that's a Fish lyric, so you'll be enjoying that. All right, dude. Are you ready to bring in our guests?
I am.
All right, let's bring in our first guest sitting right next to me here on location at Carversteak in Las Vegas. I got Brian Bass, Chief Marketing Officer with Carver Road Hospitality. Oh, the crowd is loving you, man. Great to see you, Brian, dude. Oh, I left him. Oh, sorry about that, dude. So great to see you. Look at that, man. Knives out over here. I better be really knife to you, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble today, aren't I? All right.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys. So great to be on with you, and obviously to be in our private dining room here at Carversteak at Resorts World.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome to be over here. So this is exciting because we got this beautiful knife display. I had a chance to walk around, and this place is cool. Brian, I'm loving that outdoor dining area. Maybe not tonight because it's like 8 degrees out there in Las Vegas, but that looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have a great outdoor space. It's enclosed. We have heaters. We have misters for the summer. So actually, it wouldn't be too bad out there if it works for NFL MVPs, and I think that maybe it can work for Vegas again, Glenn. But
that's
we'll see where the night takes
us. We will see if I'm a Holmesworthy. I don't know, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, Craig, we've got another amazing, fantastic, terrific guest. Do we not?
We do. We've got Mr. Peter Ricci from Florida Atlantic University. So let's bring in our guest.
There he is, Peter.
Peter, welcome.
So great,
Brian. I got louder applause than you, I'm afraid. I'm so super jealous that you guys are sitting in Vegas. It's just I just can't tell you how much that annoys me.
Yeah, but Brian, I got to tell you, you live here. I mean, you've got to be like I'm in Vegas.
I'm super excited. It's Friday, and we are about to have a drink a little bit earlier than normal because of the time zone. So 2 p.m. Friday cocktail sounds pretty great.
It certainly does. I love it. But we are not allowed to have a cocktail. And I want everybody watching tonight to make sure Dave is aware I did this. Oh, yeah, it's cocktail time. That's
Cheers.
Right. Ricci, I know that you're going to be drinking something over there, but I don't know what it is.
I have my assortment between Heineken and iced tea because I have work to do, but screw it, I'm having the Heineken.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought maybe that was
it.
like a South Florida iced tea or something like that, you know?
I love it.
So Craig, you're drinking a beer too as well?
Yes.
Now, we are not drinking beer tonight, and I'm actually
jealous.
going to be we're going to be drinking today. I'm doing specifically to, I think, upset our good friend Bruce Ford over there. A huge fan of Maker's Mark. Now, you guys over here, Brian, you didn't just want to serve any regular old Maker's Mark. No. What do we have here?
So we have a pretty cool product, and actually, Glenn, you'll see that there's almost nothing gone from this bottle. So this is a private select barrel that we made at Maker's Mark in Kentucky. And so our corporate mixologist and VP of beverage, Francesco Lafranconi, who's one of really the amazing minds of spirits and really anything that you would pour, alcoholic and non, went down to Maker's and essentially created this barrel for us. And we just received it literally a couple days ago. So Glenn, you're going to be the first non-Carversteak employee to...
I thought you were going to say non-NFL player.
So we'll start you off.
Though I do get confused a lot for, for being in the game. Yeah.
Glenn, you're the first dancer to have some.
That is true. I love this glass, Brian. This is really awesome. So, of course, we got the giant ice cube in here, and this glass is really beautiful because it allows your fingers to go somewhere very naturally, and it feels really organic to hold this particular glass. It's got some weight behind it, too, unlike the collection of fine stemware I have from IKEA in my house.
Yeah, probably not from IKEA. Probably costs a little bit more as well, although I'm not sure. But no, again, Francesco, every detail of what we do here is kind of thought out. And so this is our old-fashioned glass. And yeah, really, we have, great glassware. I love drinking out of this personally.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. So one of the things that when you have different drinks, you really want to have different ice cubes. And here in Las Vegas, it's amazing that you see how the mixologists have taken the different styles of ice cubes and the purity sometimes of the ice cubes and really turned them to an essential element of the drink. So why is it important, Brian, if you happen to know, to have this one large cube as opposed to the smaller rocks when presenting a drink of this caliber?
Yeah, sure. So, we really don't want to water this down, right? We just want to kind of control the temperature of it.
Right.
And then give it just, a little bit of water as you go. And so that's why we have the big cube for this one. But I think that we have like 5 or 6 different types of ice here that Francesco uses for his various cocktails. And, it's everything. It's the glass, it's the ice, it's what goes in it, it's the garnish, the ingredient.
And you can't just run a faucet and do ice like this because this is crystal clear. So I know there's a process that I can't bring to the tip of my tongue right now, Brian. Do you know what that is?
I don't, and if I did, I would have to kill you. But,
well, I understand. Hopefully not before we eat dinner here tonight. I'd like that to be my last meal, please.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think that we have 3 or 4 different ice machines here.
Yep.
And again, this is really good. And by the way, 56% alcohol. So
how much now?
Wow.
56.
This is why I'll be taking a nap after Friday night audit before we have dinner.
Well, just keep rubbing it in, you two.
Peter, are you a bourbon drinker?
I drank so much in my early days. I was always a vodka guy. And then as I got older, I switched more to bourbon and whiskey. So I'll have a nice cocktail now and then. I never really was a beer fan, but going to the University of Florida, that's all you drink for the whole however years it takes you to get your bachelor's.
All right. So my question to you now is, what is your favorite alcohol when your students drive you to drink?
I still revert to vodka. I like vodka and grapefruit, or I like margaritas. But tequila, tequila I love. And it's just one of those things I could sip on all the time.
Yeah, you guys had the Dos Hombres guys in here, Brian Cranston and Aaron Paul. Brian, that was pretty cool to have them bartending here.
Yeah, we did. It was super cool. Obviously they have that great mezcal, and they came in, and we didn't really know what they were going to want to do, and they got behind the bar and started making drinks, and we're mixing it up with guests. And Cranston makes a pretty killer mezcal Negroni. I was pretty surprised. They must be.
Wow.
getting a lot of work with that shaker.
They do. Well, they're really worried. They're figuring if the acting thing doesn't work out, maybe they could get back to into bartending. But that's one of the cool things about them. They're really hands on with that particular tequila brand, and I know they're planning on doing a summer tour, going around to different locations, doing just that, and really connecting to people. Yeah, go check out Dos Hombres, Amy. That is a great mezcal tequila. Now, I've been drinking in style this week, guys. I cannot tell you how VIP my drinking has been this week. I say, hey, come on, tell us, peg me, come on, give me a little something.
VIP
let's hear a little more about your exciting life.
Share, don't hold back. You're always too humble, Glenn. Come on. There it is. The Danny Thomas spit take.
I saved it. This is way too valuable to do a spit take.
Yeah,
you know, right?
Yeah. Brian's good. He spits that all over the place. That's the last one he's getting.
Plus, I don't want to damage the hardware that's here in front of me, or that beautiful hardware that's back there. The knife collection is amazing. So this was really super cool. I had a
okay. Wait a minute, Glenn. Before you start on that, the viewers want to know, Brian, are those cases locked? Because we don't allow Glenn near sharp objects.
They're locked. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're locked behind glass. We have some separation here, so we're safe.
It's all right. It's all right. My mom called ahead for dinner tonight, and they already have someone that's going to cut up the meat for me, just like she does, so I don't have to do a knife at all. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I have to say, one of the most beautiful people on the planet. When I got to my hotel for the first 3 nights, thank you, MGM Grand. I had a great time over there. I had a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, and that did not make it over to here at Resorts World. It was finished long before I came over here. But I got to tell you, Brian, that's how often are people ordering Johnny Walker Blue in situations such as this, or in your past life when you were doing, nightlife stuff for companies like MGM?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's Vegas. And so people want to come and really turn up and have a special experience when they come here. And so I think one of the great things about this market is that, we have everything, and whether it's spirit, food, steak, wine, whatever kind of your poison is, Vegas does a great job of putting that forward for you.
As a matter of fact, I had a couple of gentlemen on the gaming floor, not in this building, offer me any poison I chose, and they promised it was the best. So if you want something like that, go to the casino floor. He's wandering around. Dr. Ricci, how important are these experiences with drinks and cocktails and all of that stuff when it comes to creating amazing hospitality? How do you get students to understand that?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't focus enough here on culinary because I don't have the kitchen, but
for the record, I can't focus at all anymore because I've been drinking so much this week.
Yeah, but luckily in South Florida, we're surrounded by such high-end country clubs and such affluence that they just have every opportunity. I have a student who works at Live Nightclub in Miami as a barback. I mean, he's long since graduated. But that guy was making over 70.
That's at the Fountain Blue, correct?
At the Fountain Blue, and it's he was making over 70 grand as a barback part time when he was in school. And everybody there, talk about blue. They probably drink a lot of it in Miami. And Miami has that Vegas feel where you want to go all out when you're here, and you want to just do the best of the best. But that's the whole experience. I mean, look at the glass you're drinking from. Yep. Look at the quality of the steaks and the cutlery they have there, and the liquor. I mean, it's the entire experience. Again, I was excited to come hang out with you guys, but the more I'm here, the more jealous I am, because I really want to get my butt on a plane and head out there and just be next to you, because Vegas is the end all be all for me. I grew up as a kid going to Vegas. My whole family moved from New York to LA when I was a kid. So every family trip was to Vegas instead of California. So they'd come meet us in Vegas.
So do you have a special affinity for the 99-cent shrimp cocktail growing up?
Yeah, my day, Circus, second floor, that was a kids land casino, you know?
Well, mine was the all-you-can-eat fish fry at Howard Johnson's on Tuesday nights. I loved that.
Clam strips.
Brian, what's your favorite?
My favorite Vegas. No, I look, 99-cent shrimp cocktail is great. You know what I love about my favorite thing about Vegas is that moment right before the sun goes down or the sun rises and it's still bright out, but the neon's on and just like that, the feel of the light and the air and the look and the neon. And that's one of my favorite things about Vegas.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I got to tell you, man, I've been here over 100 times. That is no hyperbole because I'm here for events all the time, and it never gets tired. There's just so much energy and excitement and stuff about it. And Brian, how do you make it stay fresh to you all the time and not lose the magic that like guys like me and these guys really love about coming here?
Well, the great thing is Vegas always has something new, and there's always something new going on and opening, and not only for our company, but obviously around the city. And then, working on projects like this at Carversteak, which, is obviously a tremendous amount of work, but being able to open something like this and then see it come to fruition, and most importantly, see people come in and enjoy it and just have such an amazing experience. For me in hospitality, being able to kind of, get that fulfillment every night is really amazing.
Yeah,
and you guys, are second to none when it comes to food and beverage, entertainment, obviously. Now with this new private venture with Makers,
dude, this is so good.
You just got that. Right?
So good. I'm like really.
Yeah,
really,
I'm looking at Glenn, and he's like mellowed out.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell happened to him?
Yeah.
So now, are you going to sell that by the glass and the bottle, or just by the bottle?
No, we'll sell it by the glass. Francesco is going to have a drink that he's going to create with it that will be on the menu. And so, here at the restaurant, certainly we'd sell somebody a bottle, I guess, if they wanted. But no, really, I mean, we're taking a little bit of a different approach, obviously. And, we kind of have a nightlife background in our company, certainly. But, really, this is our kind of reimagining of a classic Vegas steakhouse. And so we sat and said, well, what are all the things we love about steakhouses? And what are the things that, are due for a modern take on? And so that's kind of how we came here.
Right now, this show's kind of like a little bookend to the No Vacancy Live show I did on Monday, Peter and Craig, because on that show, we talked to Sean Christie, the CEO of Carver Road Hospitality. And of course, he came out of doing nightlife at Wynn and MGM like Brian did and a lot of other people on the team. So they've really been rooted in this city. Sorry to say this, for decades. But even though they've got a brand new company, they know this market like nothing else. Peter, what do you think when it comes to Las Vegas, not just about a modern steakhouse? And I'm going to press him on what makes this different than other places in town, but what is it that you are excited about now that's making it fresh, making it different, making it that experience that people are dying for?
I just think the never-ending evolution. I mean, that's what keeps Vegas so exciting. Anytime you go back, there's something new, there's something different.
Right.
And there's no feeling like flying into Vegas at night. I mean, or, when you leave, it just makes you so sad. The entire atmosphere of Vegas is so electric that it just will never lose its edge as a destination. And I think right now that we're all getting back to meetings and events, I think 23 is going to be bonanza for Vegas. I just can't see it being anything but fantastic. But I mean, to me, it's the culmination of everything hospitality. I mean, I had the pleasure to live in Orlando for 7 years, and it's an end-all be-all tourism place as well. But Vegas has that plus, and I was lucky enough to be in Vegas when they had.
Wait, Peter, you said you lived in Orlando for 7 years. Were you the dream finder at Epcot back in the day?
Yeah, I wish. I haven't found it if I was. I don't really remember. Yeah, have a little more sip there, buddy. I like it.
Yeah.
What's funny you say about hospitality. I mean, just something as simple as that drink is an experience.
Right.
It's the way you savor it. It's the glass. It's the environment. I mean, you're creating an experience. And I think that's what Vegas attracts me the most, because I've had the best experiential visits there than I have anywhere in the world. It just has the infrastructure.
Right now, Brian, I love steakhouses. Who doesn't love a good steakhouse? For those of you who don't, there's actually going to be a vegan restaurant opening up here. Check out our show with Resorts World executives yesterday on No Vacancy Live. But Brian, what makes this steakhouse different? Why did we need another steakhouse in this market? Because you guys are all geniuses, and you're coming in with another steakhouse. How are you making it different?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think that it begins with environment. And so it starts with the design and the look and feel of the place and the lighting and the sound. And
totally different than that old school steakhouse with the red leather and stuff like that. It's very bright. It's very open. And you have outdoor space too.
Yeah, big outdoor space. That we're lucky we have this amazing patio on the strip that, come a couple weeks from now is going to be amazing. But
not this week, by the way.
Yeah, not quite yet, but soon.
Seriously, I went outside, my toupee just went flying off.
So I think for us, it begins with the environment and energy and creating something that is an experience that can't be replicated in other markets. And then we layer in the beverage program and the glassware and the ice and the product. And then obviously what chef's doing out of the kitchen. Ultimately, the steak has to be, on par with everything else in the market. And I believe our kitchen right now is really doing that. And then we come up with fun angles. You come in, you pick your knife, you choose you choose your weapon, so to speak. As you sit down. So there's
very cool.
Yeah, there's all these points of engagement where people, it's so much more than just going and having a meal somewhere. It's that you're coming in and that you're part of the experience yourself.
Yes.
Brian,
yeah.
How do you keep your team engaged? And how do you get them to continually get your guests, whether it's a repeat guest or a first guest, engaged and really taking advantage of this outstanding establishment that you guys have created?
Yeah, I mean, I think things that allow them to interact with the customer, is obviously helpful. But ultimately, I'm a believer that at Las Vegas is the hospitality capital of the world, and really our staff and the people that live and work here, not only in this restaurant, this building, and on this street, they love hospitality and they breathe it. And so I think the type of caliber of employee that it works in these type of establishments in Vegas is so much it's such a high quality that it really helps to really create that moment with the guests.
I got to tell you, every time I've been in that town and service industry night, Sin has been happening, I meet the brightest and the best in the F&B space in that city, anywhere in the world, actually. And I always enjoy having that conversation with them about what it's like to be there. You're in a 24/7 town. It's about the experience. It's about providing just the best service, the best food, the best alcohol, the best of everything to the guest. And it's true. I mean, the service there is second to none. And you keep letting Glenn.
I know. Well,
I don't understand.
Nobody does.
I've been a lot.
Yeah, totally. It's funny you say that because there's a definite difference between Orlando and Vegas service. Not that Orlando has poor service. It's just,
but it has to be totally different in some regard, right?
It is. It's not as sophisticated. Food and nightlife and casino driven just has some sophistication and allure to it. And I always find the associates in Vegas just better as a general rule everywhere. I think it's because they live it, they eat it, they breathe it. That's what they're there to do, and they love it.
And so go to different industry nights around town. They're here to do that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So Peter, how do you teach that to your students?
Hold on, let Brian has something to say, then we'll go to Peter.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I mean, it's something that is really you're born with, right? If you want to work in hospitality. And so, in other markets where Los Angeles, New York, where hospitality is like a second career or something that you do while you're waiting for your kind of real job to take off.
Right.
Don't talk about actors.
among others. But here in Vegas.
Writers, directors, producers.
Yeah, reality TV stars, all the categories.
Like here in Vegas, a server in a steakhouse, that's a career. That's a career job and a career revenue as well.
A career that makes really good money. That's for sure. And I think that might be the thing really that drives people here. Going to what you said, Peter, and I'd love for you to answer Craig's question, but also the economics of the cities are very different when it comes to spending and restaurants and nightlife and sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because what Brian said is one of those age-old issues that hospitality we've always combated, but now it's at its peak after the pandemic, is that it's always been an industry you did on the way to something else, while you were going to school, while you're being, while you're moving to a new place. And in Vegas, it's always been a type of mentality. This is my career. Right. This is what I love. And it's a profession for me. And so for, one of the things to follow up on what Craig said, it's hard for me to identify. I try to personally identify among the students where I see them. Do I see them at a cruise line? Do I see them at a casino? Do I see them in an airline because, they're okay with making 60 grand, but they want to be on a plane every weekend exploring the world? Or do I see them in a country club because they really have the service ethic to deal with an affluent club attendee? I mean, you got to find your niche. And that's kind of, Vegas, you can make money in our business. And so you can be a professional who works valet or who works behind a bar or who works in rooms. I mean, that's not possible in a lot of cities. So I think it just gravitates to more professional type people that go there in the first place. I mean, it's funny. I tell my students all the time, I'm 56. I kind of want to get out of academia and do something for 15 years that I have left. I started in restaurants, high-end, upscale restaurants. I worked hotels. I'd love to live in Vegas and park cars.
So how do you know you have 15 years left? Did you get your lifeline read or something like that?
Yeah, we're astrologists. Here in Florida, we operate primarily by astrology and zodiac and stuff. And they told me about 14 to 17.1 years. So that's what I'm banking on.
All right. Craig?
I'm going to say Florida also leads the nation with the wrong limb being amputated. Okay, so
you're right. I always forget that story. But I
don't. That's why I don't go to your state.
I have to say, as crazy as we are, it's so nice to be in this business and have us being so busy down here because we kind of opened earlier. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a restaurant where someone has just arrived from somewhere else, and they're on the phone saying, "Yeah, I got here. We're at J. Alexander's. It's the Wild West here." I mean, everybody initially was calling us the Wild West because we were so open, but that openness has really led to the industry booming ahead of its curve. But it's an interesting time of the world to be living. I mean, right now we're coming back to life so vibrantly, and now we got to worry about Europe. It's always something.
It is always something. Brian, though, I got to tell you, I've been here all week, and this place seems packed. You're the local, you're the expert. What's going on over here in terms of people coming back now?
No, I think people are super excited to be coming back, to be coming to Vegas, and we very recently took away the mask mandate here in casinos, which has been
changed the attitude and everything
in place for over a year. I think.
Well, there was like a couple of months in like June, July that it was
for a little bit.
Like just for a hot minute, as the kids say out there.
A day and a half.
It's definitely. I mean, there's definitely an energy and a vibe on the casino floor. There's a concert here tonight, and just walking through the casino. I mean, that kind of old Vegas energy that Peter talked about is definitely back, and I mean, I think that this year is going to be a huge year. I think people want to obviously kind of break free from the last 2 years and everything that everybody has obviously lived through, and so I think part of that is going to be everyone has a Vegas trip on their calendar at some point through the year, if not more than one.
More than one.
And really, it's going to be I want to get the Clase Azul. Yeah, I want to get the Maker's Private Select. Yes, I want to get the Tomahawk because I've been sitting at home and And, now it's worth the splurge. It's worth the spend. I think that one of, the takeaways that's great for our industry is kind of like the experiential nature of what we do. The value of that really is being reinforced to people in their lives as, they've spent so much time over the last 2 years kind of, in their homes.
Yeah, Peter?
Brian, I have a question for you. From my students, like you've been in both the nightclub business and the restaurant business and combinations.
I even taught students at UNLV.
Yeah. So how do you explain those nuances? Is there a certain type that goes one way? Is another one that goes another way? Or it's all the same to you in a way?
Great question.
In what regard? Meaning like coming to town and going to different places?
No, career-wise.
Oh, career-wise. Yeah, I mean, I mean, not to repeat what Sean said earlier in the week, but, obviously the hospitality business is a hard business. And, whether it's a nightclub or a restaurant, those things aren't easy. And so I think that the line between the two has certainly become more blended than ever before. And by that, I think restaurants are darker and louder, and the way that a younger audience is looking to interact with hospitality spaces has changed. And so I think that, what we would refer to as like a blended experience are opportunities to really kind of further confuse the line between those definitions of this is a restaurant, this is a nightclub, and that you're kind of doing that with some of your new product as well, right? In Salt Lake, and you're going to be coming here with stuff that's kind of blending more of that to do with the eating and hanging out. Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's something that we feel is an opportunity in the changing kind of habits of people. And it's not that, people want to jump around and they want to do a lot of different things. They want to experience a lot of different things. And so if you're able to create venues that can retain the customer for longer and have more offerings within the same roof, then you have the ability to kind of keep them longer. Right. Yeah. But you've got they've got this place that they opened up in Salt Lake City called Flanker, and it's really, you're calling it a kitchen and sporting club, and you've got entertainment and all sorts of stuff there. Yeah, so we have the restaurant. It's a restaurant, I mean, kind of first and foremost, but it also has a sporting club where we do sporting. We basically show sporting events in really high energy manners. And so like we just did this huge Super Bowl party where we brought in kind of like all of this like nightclub production, from cryo, confetti cannons, spark towers, like all these different things that you would typically see, around like a concert or a Tiesto performance in a nightclub, and then build them around a football game, which is a pretty interesting experience to be a part of. And then we have things like karaoke rooms. We have a speakeasy parlor. We have swing suites where you can go golf and like throw footballs. I thought you meant something else completely.
I was a little scared there for a minute.
Especially in Salt Lake City.
Welcome back to the 70s.
Isn't that the state with all the sister wives and stuff like that? Yes, Salt Lake City.
Oh God!
I was like, wait, we're back in Vegas, or okay? Now I'm on track.
Yeah, so we're going to be opening one of those.
You think it needs more?
Yeah, go on, Brian.
No, I was just going to say we're going to be opening one of those here in Vegas, and it's a brand that we're going to build on, and that we think.
And it's going to be in a great location. And when they're allowed to say publicly, you're going to be like, oh, yes, Glenn, that is a great location. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about that because, Peter, what we've been, Craig and I, and we've been talking about a lot is that now that you got these great sports books and stuff, it's really starting to transform the sports engagement type of activity. And I think that these guys are right on with that particular type of product. Thank you so much, Brian. I didn't even have to ask. And let me tell you, I wanted to ask.
I know. That's why I said you were rattling your eyes. So.
I know. Absolutely. It's all experience. That's
at the country clubs. Yeah, some more, please. Sorry, Peter.
See, I could place you in a country club down here anytime.
Oh my God!
As a member,
I don't have enough sweater vests to be able to pull it off, though.
Yeah, I think that was the black ball that stopped it.
Yeah, right.
You in the country club, Glenn?
What? Because I'm a Jew, or because of the other stuff? I'm confused.
The other stuff. It's the other stuff.
You made Brian red in the face there for a minute.
I think it's the bourbon.
Oh.
That's too funny. So,
Oh,
Peter,
my God.
what I've got to know is you've been teaching for a long time now, right? And students sometimes make excuses in sort of some of those types of things when they can't get stuff done. What are some of the most like ridiculous excuses that they told you with a straight face that they thought you were going to buy?
I had a great one last week. You know, they come so frequently that you forget. But there was a great one. There was a great one last week about an exam coming up. What article were you sending us articles to read for just to send them, or did you want us to read those for the article for the exam? So I wrote back there to expand your learning knowledge, and it went back and forth. Does that mean it's on the exam? Well, does the article tie into the chapter? I don't know. I haven't read it. They just go. I mean, they're classic. They're just classic.
Oh my God!
So rather waste your time than they actually read the article.
It's just, and it's funny in a new world because the students will text you now. They'll call your cell. You know, it's just such a different, nice world of engagement. But it's hard for any of us that remember a time when you had to go to a specific office hour. I like it though because they reach out in their own way. But what's one of the other excuses I got? Oh, here's my favorite. This is 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I missed the exam because I have COVID. Okay, could you please send me the doctor's note? Sends me the doctor's note with the COVID test that shows it was negative. So I said,
it was signed by Epstein's mother.
I wrote back and I said, I got your note for your test, but it shows negative. And the argument was, yes, but I got tested. So I mean, where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? You know, this is where you go.
Yeah, right. So Brian, I got to ask you then, because you've dealt with a lot of teams of people, and you know we were already talking about those industry nights. What are some of the excuses that you've heard when people just can't make it to work that day?
I mean, we're kind of in a little bit of a weird area there in that you're kind of expected to just come to work really hungover if you've been out drinking because that's what everybody does.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, cool. Like you were out. Okay. Got it. You know, so was I. Okay. Well, you drank this. Okay, cool. Well, so did I.
Right.
I'm at my desk. Where are you? You know, like, so I think that we're in that kind of area.
That is funny. That is funny.
Yeah, do you keep a bottle of oxygen in the office? And
I mean, it has been known that I've seen people like get IVs in their offices before, and just really, it's come to work and then figure out how you're going to make it through the day, right?
Yeah, dude, there's a whole business here. I think they've got that vehicle that'll drive up, and you get the IVs and the oxygen and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
I'm sure they probably also serve drinks.
It's funny you say that because I remember not long ago when people owned and operated hotels in the Keys in Florida, the labor market was so intense and it's a party town. So like if you drank and you didn't show up for work, the hoteliers would not fire you because if they did, you're going to just go to the next hotel because everybody's always just moving around.
Right.
You know, so they didn't really care if they went out and partied too much because they just wouldn't show up and they'd go work next door. And I'm like, okay, interesting environment, you know? Yeah, interesting environment.
Yeah, I've always been of the school of just showing up and half-assing it the next day. That's
all. Take your Tylenol and go, you know? That's all you do.
Exactly. Michelle is saying, hey, what's the drink of choice today? She's drinking a little bit of a Blue Moon Belgian White. I love Blue Moon beer, one of my favorites out there. But we're drinking a special reserve, Carversteak Reserve. You got that bottle there. Ooh, look at that, right from Maker's Mark. Oh, I love it that they partnered with Maker's Mark to bring this special experience here to Carversteak at Resorts World in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
That whole labeling and everything is fantastic, Brian. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, Francesco would be able to speak on it way better than I, but essentially there's 5 different kind of categories in which they have. It's something like 5 to 12 different options. And so basically you go and blend a flavor profile that is essentially proprietary. And so he went and selected 5 different staves that they then age in the barrel with the bourbon. And so obviously we have the whole barrel. And so somebody could technically replicate, his kind of formula, especially when it's printed on the bottle like
Right.
this, but
Right.
not exactly top secret.
Gotta have a sound effect for that, Glenn.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg.
But I think that for the private selection, 03331 should have for now be referred to as a Francesco LaFranconi. But no, it's a super cool experience and one that for us, we have a couple different barrels that we've done here of different products. But I think that this is, this is some great juice too.
Yeah.
So I think that it just speaks to the nature of like what people are looking for. And again, what we're trying to do here, and not only in Vegas, but also at Carversteak, where it's something that you can only have this here.
This is completely unbelievable. It is one of the easiest drinks. I love the Casamigos tequila because it's really easy sipping. You just keep doing it. You don't even think about it. There's zero bite to this. It's all just caramelly, delicious yumminess. Right, Brian?
Love that.
Yeah, the toast, like a lot of really toasted notes. And I think that he actually blended this specifically with a drink in mind. I don't know if
interesting,
an old fashioned or what, but I mean, he built this for a specific cocktail, and so I can't wait to see what it'll be when it goes on the menu. Because again, we literally just got this week. You're the first person outside the company to try it. There's probably
another person in Glenn Hausman besides having the #1 podcast globally. So
that's right.
Wow, congratulations,
hey, Brian. Let me ask you, what are your projections on how long that barrel's going to last you? Because you've got to be strategic in everything that you buy. And, what's the shelf life before it gets moved over to a side and nobody sees it anymore? And you never want that. So, this is a huge expense to create your own version, your own brand, for your steakhouse. So, is that going to last a year, 6 months?
Yeah, I don't know.
And what do you do after that?
It probably depends on what the cocktail is and obviously how popular it is. But I would say probably around 6 months would be my guess, give or take a little bit. I think, obviously the other thing is you don't know how much you're getting when you buy the barrel because of
evaporation.
Bourbon does bourbon things, right? And so, so I actually don't even know how many bottles we got, but I would say about 6 months.
Now, is that the only joint venture that you've done with a spirit, or are you doing others as well?
We have a barrel that we did with Bullet as well.
Oh, cool.
That I think is used in one of the drinks on the menu. We're also the room next to the one we're in, which is the knife room, is actually the whiskey room, and so it's two PDRs that are right next to each other, and so.
And they've got a door that could open and close,
there's
one of those air walls.
Yeah, like a pocket door that kind of, so you can either have it together or separate. And then we're working on stuff all the time, and we're working on a tequila thing. We're working on a beer collaboration with one of the great brewers in Utah that we want to do with Flanker there.
Nice.
Now that we have the barrel, because we get the empty barrel after we have all the product, trying to figure out what we're going to do with the barrel. Because obviously it can be used for a bunch of different things.
Right. There's a lot of drinks that are made recharred bourbon barrels.
Barrels,
yeah.
A lot of tequilas are doing that as well. So
barbecue sauce, just to so we're trying to figure out, kind of what we're going to do with it. And I think that we're always looking for, ways to do kind of unexpected things with expected product,
Peter, this sounds like a really cool idea too. How does this reflect what you're seeing out there, and how do you keep up with all of that stuff to make sure your students are really hearing the latest intel? Does it include coming to Vegas trips and having
field trip to Vegas?
Field trips. It's interesting. The Florida type student, they're very Florida centric. Like a lot of them grew up everywhere else in the world and said, "Oh, I love this. I'm going to stay." So Vegas is one of their hot spots, and so is New York. So they're always going to New York, LA, Vegas. If they ever mention their Instagram, their TikTok, what the cool places are, that's where they go to see what's going on. And then with Hard Rock opening the Guitar Hotel down here, that's become a super mega hit for young people from Miami to Orlando. They gravitate there. And so when that comes out to Vegas, I expect that'll be the next new attraction on the Strip.
Hard Rock did a great job in Atlantic City, turning a former casino resort into something new, fun, and fresh. Brian, I got a question for you about people that come to Las Vegas. You've said a lot of young people are really into coming to Las Vegas. I've seen it in the PR world. A lot of people come here, then they leave. So how many people come here and leave because they can't handle it anymore?
Great question.
Or are totally burnt out on it, or just go to like get a job somewhere else?
Make it beyond year one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 year is, there's a couple like milestones as a Vegas resident, and 1 year is absolutely the starting point.
Right.
If you haven't lived here a year, you're not a resident, you're not a local.
Yep.
5 years is kind of like the second milestone, because you've kind of had your ups and downs, at that point.
Yeah, and you seem fairly committed.
But you're still here 5 years. That's a good stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the real marker of being a Vegas local is double digits. And once you hit double digits,
right,
that's when you start. That's when I realized that I started getting props from like old timers, especially like when I hit 10 years, was taking taxi cabs. And it was like, oh, I've been here 30 years. Like, how long have you been here?
Right.
And it'd be like 11 years. It's like, oh, okay. Like you're
now
here.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah. You passed the hurdle.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I kind of noticed that I started getting like kind of recognition as a legit local.
All right, so what percentage of people bail after that first year, do you think? Obviously, this is not a scientific survey.
I don't know, 30%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, that'd be my guess, 30 to 50.
That seems low to me.
Peter, how does that compare to the amount of people that start a college education in hospitality and that leaves it before the end of that time?
I think we pride ourselves on like a 60 or 70% graduation rate from start to finish, which is kind of high if you ask me. That's pretty impressive to make it all the way through. Oh, and that's probably graduating in 4 years. It's probably a little higher if you go to like 7-8 years,
right?
Wherever you want to go. But it's funny. There was a guy when I taught at UCF in Orlando. He was a high up exec with a hotel brand. Can't remember. He's long since retired. But he got a scholarship to UNLV in the late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up on Long Island. Dad gave him a car, drove out there, got his financial aid, set up apartment, and he lost all his money in 10 days. His dad flew out, picked him up, shipped him home, and he finished his degree at Hofstra.
It's Glenn.
I'm like, that's why my mom, may she rest in peace, she never let me go to UNLV. I went to visit it 7 times, but I never got permission.
Ironically, I lost all my money at dog tracks in Miami. So,
oh my God, how funny!
And that and High Life.
So
how funny. So I've steered clear, but I'd love to live in Vegas with an hourly job for my last part of hospitality. I think I'd have a blast. I was the best damn server, dishwasher, you name it. I think I'd have a blast.
Love it.
Plus, you'll if you're old enough, they'll pity you so badly. They'll like, oh, that poor guy, and give you lots of tips.
Absolutely.
Social
Craig,
security is not enough.
Craig, you had a question?
Yeah, I did. Brian, we've, there's a huch difference between San Francisco and Los Angeles. Okay.
No, there's not compared to like Dallas and, other places.
Well, yeah. But we've lost a lot of the professional, servers on the food and beverage side in LA, Orange County, San Diego. San Francisco, you still see it as a profession. And Peter, I want you to chime in on this. Well, we haven't done a good job for hospitality across the board, going, this is a career. This is where you can make money. This is where you can get ahead. You don't have to go to Wall Street. But, we're not, Glenn's told me this 3 million times. Okay. There are no professional servers in Los Angeles. They're all actors, writers, directors, producers, period. So send all the hate mail to Glenn on that. I can
be found at Glenn at novacancynews.com. That's Glenn, novacancynews.com.
So how do you keep getting professionals at these upscale restaurants of yours? And Peter, how do you get people into your university and convince them that hospitality is a great, noble profession?
I told you that's the $1 million question, and it's always been bad. It's super tough, and so far much worse after the pandemic, because they all saw on social media these mass quitting, this mass exodus. But now we raised our starting pay pretty damn good across the industry. So there's trickling back. And I think, it's a job for people like me who are in it every day to say, this is a profession. Like you said, you don't need to be a financial planner. You need to go into real estate. Go start a company, go start a restaurant group. You're entrepreneurial, go start a quick service restaurant, go start a bar. But Americans have always perceived hospitality as lower end service compared to many other nations. And so, like in South Florida, we have the annual parade of international short-term temporary workers who come with a much better attitude that being a server is a profession, being a banquet captain, being a leader. So that I tell you, Craig, that's part of my everyday song and my everyday mission, is that this is a profession. It's carried me since age 14, and I love it. Yeah. And you have fun. It's a message we need to get clear that this is a profession of service. Not that we are servants. That's how I always explain it.
And I agree with you. And Brian, before you answer, I've said this for years. We have not done a good job at recruiting, whether it was at the college level or as an industry. And, Glenn's known this with his involvement with my California Lodging Investment Conference.
March 10th.
One of the pillars of that is March 10th. That's right. One of the pillars of that conference is giving back. We take a percentage of our gate and we give it back and do scholarship donations with our various trade organizations. And it's just absolutely critical that, we get the messaging out that this is an industry where you can have a career. Glenn and I both know a lot of the CEOs of various hotel companies, and I'm going to use two examples. I'm going to use Chris Green and I'm going to use Tom Gachet. Okay. They both started out as being hourly employees, and they're now CEOs of major hotel companies. In the back of their head, they always remember what it's like to be that hourly employee, and they are the best at the management. So, you talk to Tom over at Davidson Hotels, and you talk to Chris over at Chesapeake. Their mindset is still right there on the front line.
That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I had to get on my soapbox.
So, Brian, I got to ask you then, did you get started in that sort of way? How did you get started? You've always just kind of always been there, and I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think actually I was just, as you were saying that, I was thinking about, our company and really all, everyone in our company started from the bottom and just worked our way up.
Right.
And
way up.
And I mean, I think that empathy that you talk about, I think is really important, especially as employees kind of become less tolerant of the types of things that they're willing to put up with in their lives and the imposition that sometimes a job can be. And it's important to, for us, like we want to create an environment where not only can people grow and that the person behind me is going to take my job one day, but that also an environment where people enjoy working here and they're proud to say that, they're proud to hand out a business card with Carver Road on it. That's really important to us. And I think that when you look at some of the places, Glenn, I know when you talked to Sean, you talked about, Wynn and how at the beginning of the pandemic, like Wynn, paid their people. And when you look at the buildings that are on this street, I mean, Wynn is probably the best example of like a culture, a casino culture, right? Like, and something where you walk into the building and you can feel it when you interact with the employees, right? And so, a lot of that is about retention and training and cultivating an environment where people want to come to work every day and people want to hand a business card with your logo on it.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it that you get them to hand out that business card with your logo in it. That's that pride and ownership and a job well done. and caring about the team and the company, which is a message I think we miss in a lot of different industries, not just ours, but yeah.
Yeah, because if your employees are happy, then your guests are going to be happy, right? Because it's osmosis, right? So it's super important for, at least for us, and I know a lot of companies out there, and that's what I would kind of point to as one way we try and combat what's going on in the industry.
Yeah. I flip it too. Instead of being negative about the exit and our hours and this and that, we start them early working in most of our programs. So when I see the light bulb shining, that they're having a blast and the guests didn't get under their skin and they want to turn it around and make it a success, I pull those aside. So I work with the ones that the bulb is on, because I mean, and you're right. I mean, I started as a dishwasher at 14. I vividly remember bussing, dishing, learning how to bar back, all that stuff that never leaves. And I could jump back now and carry trays and stuff. And that, to me, that makes a great industry leader because you're right there with your team, So if I were leading a hotel chain or something like that, I would make sure that I jump behind the front desk and this and that. I remember when I worked for Intercontinental Hotels Group, I answered the switchboard one day at a hotel. We had like 600 or 700 rooms. I just happened to be helping out. And it was my regional senior executive VP, highest person at IHG, said, "What the heck are you answering the phone?" I said, "I'm busy. I'll call you back." And I hung up. And I called him back. I thought I was going to get my butt chewed. He was like, "Wow, that's awesome."
Yeah. Good.
Hey, if I was running a hotel chain or a trade organization of ours, the first thing that I would do is make Glenn Hausman our communications director. Just saying. Because he's great on messaging. There's none better than Glenn.
That's right. If you guys want to hire me for any coaching and stuff. Wait, I'm not allowed to say that until I do this. Oh my. I can't believe we're finally at the Pugapalooza, Craig Sullivan. This hour has flown by. Peter Ricci, we'll go to you first. Plug anything you would like.
To really come work in our business. That's all I want to plug. And if, I got to know thousands of you through our certificate at FAU. Our brand new one starts in 2 weeks. And we have so many donations from around the world. There's scholarships for everybody. So find me at peter.ritchie@fau.edu and I'll help you anyway. Come work in our business.
Beautiful. I love it. Brian, what's your favorite thing on the menu so far over here at Carversteak, if you can even make such a declaration?
No, there's a definite banger on the menu. It's the Wagyu cheesesteak bites, and it's totally out of control. I don't know what chef's doing with it, but that's the number one hit on the menu for sure.
Yeah, that's the starter, right?
And it's an appetizer. It comes like 2 little sandwiches, and you'll eat one in a couple hours.
Yay! I was hoping I read up about that.
Bitter.
I might have done a little research on this place ahead of time. Brian, now you've also earned a shameless plug. Tell us everything you want to know about Carversteak, Carver Hospitality, whatever it is, go for it.
Carversteak here at Resorts World, at Carversteak on Instagram, and Carver Road Hospitality and Flanker Kitchen and Sporting Club in Salt Lake. And thanks so much for having me. And I feel like I've plugged Maker's Mark enough. They should be providing you with a barrel.
Another barrel.
At this point now, Craig, I've had a great time here in Las Vegas this week and Seattle last week. I'm going to be home next week, but the week after that, I feel like there's something I should be doing. I don't know what it is.
You're flying into John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, to be at the 5th Annual California Lodging Investment Conference on March 10th.
What is it? I think it's the 3rd annual, 5th annual Click Conference or something like that at this point. Yeah. This is super exciting, man. How do we learn more? How do we get our tickets to go to this thing?
Go to cliconference.com and you can register right there. You get all the details for the conference. We've got Glenn. We've got me. As a matter of fact, Glenn and I are co-hosting our Hotel Development Roundtable, right. The Agony and the Ecstasy. We've got 2 cases that we're going over. One is on our new home, the JW Marriott in the Anaheim Resort. The other one is the conversion of the old Hard Rock to a Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas. So Glenn's been doing research while he's there.
I might have been doing a little research, but I think interviewing the owner over at the Hard Rock.
And if Brian shows up, I'm hoping he brings a bottle of that.
now we know the true reason why.
Just hoping. Not a requirement, Brian. You are welcome to come. Peter, you can join us as well. If you can get out here, I'll comp both of you tickets. So not a problem.
That barrel's dwindling, Brian. That barrel's dwindling.
And incredibly enough, Craig is charging me twice the normal rate to go to his conference and to speak at it. But one of the good things is I'm happy to
blow free
3 times. I forgot about that because I had to pay him because we're going to be doing Friday Night Audit live from there as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, tune into No Vacancy live Mondays through Thursdays, noon Eastern time, 9 West time. Craig?
I was going to say, past guests, prior audience, all in one location with you, me, and producer Dave, who wasn't here today.
That is incredible. Yeah, producer Dave wasn't here today because he had his company holiday party today. That's the way we do it in the hospitality industry. You have to wait until way after the holidays to do your holiday party.
You have to.
When nobody else is selling that space, right? So.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, let's wrap this up. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, Brian. This has been a whole lot of fun. Peter.
Pleasure, Brian.
Thank you so much. Peter. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, this has been a whole lot of fun. We will see you right back here next week. Same bad time, same bad channel on Friday Night Audit. And until then, have an incredible weekend. And you've got one life, so plays on or something. I don't know. See you all later.
Peace.
Bye.